good evening. It's so good to see each and every one of you here today. We are blessed to have you in this room. My name is Michael Evans, and of course you hear just a little bit more about me as the night goes on. But it is appropriate, it is right that we begin our time together with prayer. Reverend Patrick Moses is going to come and offer prayer, and then after which we'll hear from our city manager, Mr. Joe Smolinski. All right, thank you, sir.
God of mercy, God of hope, God of peace, we, the citizens of Mansfield, created in your image, gather together in unity, gather together in peace, gather together in community love, to come to focus on making Mansfield a place, a city, a thriving, a flourishing community in your name. So come now, precious God, and bless us in all that we do. In your holy name we pray, amen.
Okay, good evening. We've got Asia Cotton in here. Can she come up here for just a minute? You come up here and get ready. Asia is going to do the national anthem for us. But before we do, I'd like to bring out the Mansfield Police and Fire Department Honor Guard. If you could come out and present the colors, please. And Asia Cotton will lead us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right here for us. Okay, everybody, take a seat, please. Would you please give us another round of applause for Miss Asia Cotton from... Asia is a junior at Timberview High School, and that was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for coming out and spending the night with us. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for Asia. My name is Joe Smolinski. I'm Polish, and I'm also your city manager. I'm glad to have you all here tonight. My part of this presentation is twofold. I'll introduce the mayor here in a moment. He will go through the bulk of the presentation, then he's going to let me come up and talk about taxes. So he gets all the fun stuff. This is par for the course if you've ever seen either of us speak before, especially if you've seen either of us, the two of us speak together. I usually get to go after the Baptist preacher, but I put the presentation together tonight, so there you go, Mayor. This is my executive management team, and I know the mayor, when he comes up, will introduce the members of City Council. But if you wouldn't mind, if you guys would stand for just a second. We have Troy Listina, Vanessa Ramirez, Faith Morse, and Matt Jones. This is the management team for the city. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. They each have significant portions of the organization that they provide support to, and they make a very difficult job at times much easier to do, and I'm grateful for everything that you guys do on a daily basis, and I appreciate you being here tonight. Do we have any veterans in the audience? If you're a veteran, would you please stand for one moment? Thank you so much for everything that you do, everything that you've done. We're eternally grateful to each of you. I like to start this part by talking to veterans first, because most of you are going to be acutely aware of what I'm about to talk about. You're going to hear the mayor talk a good bit tonight about True North and what that means to the city and our guiding principles. And True North, for anyone that's been in the military and gone through a land navigation course, this is going to be very familiar to you. Now, what we do is we try to go out and we meet with new recruits that are going into the Army, going into the Navy, or God forbid the Air Force or Marines. And I'm kidding, please. No, we go out, we try to meet with them and give them their first challenge coin on their way out, to basic training. We tell them that we'll take care of their families while they're out there taking care of us. And we tell them the story about True North, and maybe it saves them a few push-ups, but hopefully it gives them a little bit of a lesson in life. So I'd like to share that with you before the mayor goes through our guiding principles. There are three types of North. The first one is a globe. If you were to you can't actually peel the skin off of a globe and lay it out flat. It's not possible to do that. So when you look at a map, it's a representation of what the globe would look like if it were laid out flat. And those lines, those grid lines on that page, they don't actually take you to the North Pole. They get you in the general direction of north. And in business, in life, we would say that's a lot like falling into an old habit or the way things have always been. It's what you fall into when you don't know where you're going. It's the same old, same old. Then there's one that most people are familiar with. That is magnetic north. That's where the needle on your compass points. But what a lot of people don't realize is that does not point to the North Pole either. It points to the magnetic pole of the Earth, the North Pole. And by definition, that is a moving target. It wobbles 34 to 37 miles every year. It moves from one place to another. So again, that is a moving target. In business and life, we would liken that to something that draws your attention, is tempted to draw you off course, draw you away from what it is you really want to do. And then there's the most important north, and that is True North. That's the geographical North Pole. That's in business and life, we would say that's who you aspire to be. It's where you aspire to go. It's what you aspire to accomplish. It's you. It's your purpose. It's your true north. And as long as you know what your true north is, then you can overcome declination. You can overcome a pull off course or falling into an old habit. So when we go through our guiding principles tonight and the mayor takes us through that, please keep that in mind, that we take this very seriously. We take our mission, our obligation to you very seriously, and it's with our true north in mind, you, that we do those tasks. So I'm going to bring up the mayor. Mayor, if you wouldn't mind heading this way. Mayor Evans is new to us for the last couple of years, but he is a fantastic mayor. He is a wonderful mayor to work with. We've got a wonderful council, and I know he's going to introduce them, and it all starts with leading meetings and making sure that all voices are heard. And Mayor Evans does that really, really well. So please join me in a round of applause. Bring up Mayor Michael Evans.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jim. As I said earlier, good evening. It's good to see each and every one of you. Thank you for being out here tonight. As you can see, the fantastic city manager that we have, Joe Smolitsky, and his entire team, he introduced his management team. So I want the opportunity to introduce my management team. And that would be my wife, Lisa Evans. Honey, would you please just kind of wave? There you go. She was waiting outside, and I walked out in the hallway, and I left my phone in here. And Joe says, Mayor, I believe that Lisa was outside. I don't think you saw her. Then when I got to my phone, I saw she texted, you walked right by me. I said, oh my God, I'm a dead man. So that's my manager, so I thank God for her. We talk about working together. We talk about True North. Talk about who we are as a city. I get the opportunity to work with some outstanding men and women on our city council. And as I prepare to introduce them, let me share with you what we came up with together in regard to our council, our vision for our city. That came from you. As you talk to us in the coffee shops or at Kroger one day in HEB, as you do all of that. You're supposed to clap on that one because y'all drove us crazy about HEB, so you, my God. This is filtered through you. Mansfield, who are we? What do we hope to be? That is a vibrant city for people and businesses that value world-class experiences, culture, quality, second to none level of community service in a hometown environment. That's Mansfield, Texas. That's who we are, and that's who we strive to be. So I get to work with some awesome people, and I'm going to ask members of our council if they would stand at this time. Mr. Casey Lewis, Ms. Julie Short, Mr. Todd Tenora. Thank you all so very much. But we also have a man that I've loved a long time, just as a good friend. I see him in the room, Mike Lehman. God bless you. And Mike, will you at least wave your hand, brother? We'd appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the folks I get to work with. So when we talk about True North and what those guiding principles really are, Joe has made it clear it's a direction. You need to know where you are going. I've had the opportunity to be a part of this community for 30 plus years, and I've watched her grow. And what direction are we moving in? We talk about noteworthy essentials, organizational excellence, remarkable experiences, and how we work together as one, and then a healthy economy. We want you to know that we're not directionless, that the people who you have chosen were pointed in a given direction, and that is always forward. When you look at our city now today, you see the numbers, 77,000 residents and growing. Really, we believe that it's more than that. We believe we're at about 80 now. Mansfield continues to grow, 25% of undeveloped land, all in this 36.8 square miles. And you can see, in regard to who we are as a city, that as it concerns the makeup, in regard to the tax rate makeup, over a quarter of that is from us. We invited you here today because we know and we believe that you are the true stakeholders. You're the ones who are those persons who are invested in this city. And we wanted you to hear from us and just know that in regard to who we are and our passion, that we're walking alongside of you and we're listening to you because we know that we cannot make it happen without you. 1981, look at our growth. In 1981, there were 8,000 people here. When I became the pastor of the Bethlehem Baptist Church, there were 15,000. Look at that growth. it continues to move. It continues to go forward. And as you see now, look at how we're growing exponentially. So the growth is happening. And we figured out, as many of you have, that we are really not able to close that back door. You know how it is. Once you get somewhere, you say, you know what? Leave it right there. Don't change it. I'm here now, and we don't want anybody else to come. Well, I mean, you know, I kind of know a little bit about that. When they finally opened up Turner Warnell all the way to 287, it made me nuts. But I couldn't say anything because I knew it was going to happen someday. Life happens. But the question is, how do we move that? How do we put reins on that horse? And how do we, speaking of the cowbell, how do we put reins on that horse and ride it? Well, you have to have a plan. Can't just jump out and just do things and just meet a couple of times a week. You've got to have a plan. We want you to know that we have a comprehensive plan, capital improvement plans, economic development strategy plan. You'll see future land use plan. And some of you in this room are going to be chosen, picked out. We're going to need to hear from you in regard to what that looks like as we put together a committee of our citizenry and our residents and say, come help us to form this plan. And then our cultural arts master plan. You can't go anywhere. You can't hit a target if you don't put one out there in front of the people. You just can't do it. But we believe that we're going to be successful at making this happen. So everything that we do in regard to our true north points to all those little letters there that you can't see, which means that it drives everything that we do. That's the bottom line. It drives everything that we do. That's what puts the reins in our hands, and we get to ride that horse. So let's talk a little bit about the noteworthy essentials. What do we mean when we say that? Well, there are some things through a citizen survey that you made known to us that you really had a heart for. And of course, it's always the roads and the infrastructure. We need to do better. I mean, you know, when a city is growing, it's hard not to get passed up with the growth. So you said that we need to do a better job at handling our roadways and just expanding what that looks like. So we put in an extra 50% in regard to the budget, an extra $1 million into roads and streets. And this year we added an additional 10% to that. So since our group has been together, we've increased that about 60%. And guess what? We know that we have to do more, and we are doing that. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well a little later on. This past year, we completed Heritage Parkway. Thank you for your emails and phone calls in that regard. I hear somebody saying now, honey, I thought he was a preacher. He's up there lying. No, seriously. I mean, we really appreciate it. I mean, for real. South Mitchell Street, East Broad Street, and more. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Projects in progress, Holland Road, Pond Street. And you know what? If the rapture doesn't come, Daymire Road, my God, we've been telling you that for what, 9 years? We're on our way. We're on our way. Trust me, we really are. If we weren't, it sure wouldn't be up on the slide in front of 400 people. So we're hoping that happens. Our water treatment plant. I think Jeff Price is in the room. His crew is in the room. During Snowmageddon, when everybody else lost water, had to boil water around us, in the city of Mansfield, might not have had lights, but we did have water. Yay. Thank you, Jeff. We love you, man. My gosh. And Lisa and I were right in there with you with no lights, I promise you. But we had water, and we're continuing to grow. We're going to have to expand of that footprint. And listen, we're beginning our next phase in expanding our water treatment plant. We're adding at least 15 million gallons per day of treated water capacity to plant. As a matter of fact, after the presentation tonight, I would love for you to go by the table and really see what that infiltration, that system looks like. They do an awesome job, an outstanding job, and we appreciate Jeff and that entire crew for the work that they do. We were awarded, as you can see, Outstanding Public Drinking Water System in 2022. So again, a big round of applause for the folks behind the scenes. Let's hear a little bit about it.
My name is Daniel Cornejo, and I work for the city of Mansfield at the water treatment plant. I do everything from rebuilding pumps, fixing leaks, assisting with the everyday, day-to-day operations. So whatever helps keep the plant going.
My name is Blake Ward. I work for the City of Mansfield Water Utilities. I'm a utilities crew leader. The main focus is preventative maintenance on our pump wastewater stations. I lead a crew of 2, and we handle 16 lift stations across the city of Mansfield, along with metering stations.
Hi, my name is Tammy Perez, and I work here for the utility billing. Well, I take payments daily for all of the residents in Mansfield. Oh, I love being able to interact with the residents and the community.
My name is Deandra Kirk. I work in the utility billing department. I am a customer service representative. I just think we're important for the customers as just customer service. They need somebody that they can reach out to and get on the phone with their questions, and we're here to answer those.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Sales, and I'm the education specialist working for environmental services and water utilities. My job is important because there's so many pieces of what the city does for residents that they don't really understand or really kind of take for granted.
Hello, my name is Adrian De Los Rios. I work for the meter department. My main priority is leaks. My job is to help them in which direction they should go, what actions to take, make a stressful situation a lot less stressful for them.
My name is Oscar Cornejo. I work for the City of Mansfield Water and Wastewater Department. I help maintain both water and wastewater mains. It keeps the world running, really. I mean, people can't live without water, plus they can't live without wastewater.
We had the opportunity this year also in 22 to upgrade our Emergency Operations Center. It opened on last fall. And in regard to that, I think the takeaway from this slide would be the fact that we have top-notch security here in our city with our police and first responders. They are the best in the Metroplex, period. And we appreciate each and every one of them. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And in upgrading that, we want to thank Greg Cutler for leading our emergency operations. It has already been used, and some of its use, you've heard about it on the news in regard to catching sex offenders and people of that nature. Thank you all so very much for allowing us to make this happen. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without the support of the folks in our community. That's really important to us. So thank you very much. Also, our Mansfield Fire Department, again, the best in the Metroplex. They earned the ISO 1 rating. That's the Mansfield Fire Department is on track to receive that particular rating. What it says is they are top-notch in regard to not only completing emergency communications, but in the way in which they serve the community, also in regard to responses. So as they were rated amongst other cities here in the Metroplex, we come out and we continue to come out as number 1. So thank you guys. Thank you for the fire department. We appreciate you all. So what does that mean? That means that we have to keep these people. We have to keep a good police. We have to keep good firefighters. That is important to us. And in order to keep them, you've got to pay them. And that's really important. If we want top-notch individuals, and we have that, last year, I am happy to report and knock on wood and listen, I'm happy to report we had 0 homicides in the city of Mansfield. Hey, that's a hallelujah. Our crime rate is down. That's a blessing as well. And pardon the church language, every now and then I slip in and out, but it'll be all right. All right, but we are continuing to stay competitive as we implement our salary step plan. That is important because we want to make sure that we're hiring the best and the brightest, ladies and gentlemen. So please know that we have that right here in our town. Now, with that in mind, you have to take care of the people who take care of you. So if you have had the opportunity of driving down Heritage and you see some demolition taking place of the old jail, we are contracting with the city of Everman. They are holding those people who are the bad actors in Mansfield. They're holding them for us, keeping them on ice for us while we build the Mansfield Police Department, our public safety building, and we are proud of that. We did not want to be attempting to retrofit the old buildings. Again, if you say that you appreciate your police and your fire, they should have the best of the best equipment, the best place to operate out of, and all of that benefits us, those of us who live in the city of Mansfield. So again, thank you all very much, because we can't do it without you, without your support. And as you can see, because of your support, we are building the driving track, the burn tower. We're relocating station number 1 from the downtown area, but not far, maybe down about 3 or 4 blocks. But again, all of this is happening. By having these facilities in Mansfield, we save taxpayer money. We keep you from, and me too, and Lisa, my manager, we keep us from having to pay other municipalities to train our folks. We get to train them ourselves. And we also make a little money because of those other municipalities utilize our facilities, and we believe that that's a good thing. And we want to have a number 1. All right, so in regard to organizational excellence, to be honest with you, I'm the front man. We have an awesome staff of people, over 500, almost 600 individuals. You saw some of the pictures today. People you don't ever think about. You think about drinking water, but you don't think about the wastewater. Those are the folks out there in the trenches dealing with our stuff. All right? Good. I don't even have to explain that one. That's great. All right. Happy day. All right. So when we talk about being an award-winning city, can't do it without the citizenry. You're kind people. You speak to each other. When we're at the gas station and places like that, you speak, and that says something. So we were voted the most livable city in the state of Texas, ladies and gentlemen. That's Mansfield. Mothers Against Drunk Driving, 2022 enforcement hero, Joe Bourget. So thank you again. I mean, again, just look at what we have and the people we have, the quality of folks we have in our city. These are some of those awards, and this is what it looks like. And we thank you. Our Parks Department, number 1. Again, our Man's Best Field Dog Park received the Excellence Award. But again, you can see those names up there. But just great job, great work. And it's good to be a part of a great city like Mansfield, Texas. And this great man, we love him, Roman Jones. Now, if you've not met Roman Jones is one of the nicest guys you'll meet just in the world. So not only does he stand guard over us during the city council meetings, with a big smile, he does that. But also you need to know, look at him. Look at him in the park, walking people's dogs. The people want to go to the restroom. He walks their dogs. He says, I'll hold your dogs while you go to the restroom. Just a great guy. You see him with the kids. We appreciate that. Again, he is an outstanding person. And he was awarded the Jesse Fernandez Frontline Leader Award. He was chosen by his peers. And again, we appreciate him because he's a man that comes to work every day with a smile on his face, serving our community. And I'm going to tell you now, I just call him Brother Jones because that's the kind of guy he is, and we appreciate him. I don't know if Roman is even in the room, but we sure owe Roman a round of applause. He's an #1 guy. We've started our internship program, and our internship program is active. We now partner with UTA and MISD we want students who are interested in learning more about the city government. And our interns are paid, and they really like working here. They really like being a part of here, of Mansfield. They participate in events and programs, but not only that, they're actually in the offices, and we appreciate them because they lean in and give us some advice. I'm at a certain age now where I really need to listen more to Gen Z people, folks like that. And they help our city to grow because they are our future. They're not just Generation Next. I believe that they're Generation Now. And we are training them up. And our goal is to keep them right here in Mansfield so that they can grow and they can have their families here as well. So we appreciate our interns. They do an outstanding job. And thank you, MISD. So now, using resources wisely. You've seen, of course, where we talked about the dollars that we spend and have spent on roads and things of that nature, where we placed more dollars into the budget for fixing the highways and so on and so forth. You'll see that we also write grants. And we were awarded, in regard to grants on last year, $3,775,000. And listen, you see what it went for: a bulletproof vest, state and local fiscal recovery funds, interlibrary loans, special projects, there goes that waste again, solid waste grants, and more. And also we were awarded a little over $12 million through the county. And so we appreciate those dollars coming through, and the folks on staff who go out and find that money, because when they find it, then that's less money that we have to spend ourselves, and that lessens the burden on the taxpayers. And just today, we were awarded a $750,000 grant from the Texas Parks and Wildlife. And we love our trails here in Mansfield. Our trail connection from Julian Field Park to the Walnut Creek Linear Park, and again, playgrounds, pavilion, restrooms, exercise equipment, and as you can see, disc golf. So again, thank you all, those with the Parks Department and also those others who are serving on the grants. Thank you all for making that happen. And we have good folks in the room. You know exactly what I'm talking about because you were part of making this work for the city of Mansfield. Another thing that we heard in regard to the citizen survey was transparency. You want more transparency. Well, please note that in regard to who we are, we believe that transparency is important. And what we've done is we have expanded our Office of Open Records and Transparency with 2 full-time positions. So Erin Onion, if she's not in the room, you'll get to meet her outside. She has now a full staff of people, LaShawn Dunlap and Amaratana. So we appreciate them. So when you get a chance on your way out, please meet them, and just feel free to ask for records. She'll just really love it. Trust me. She'll greet you with a great smile. All right, I bring you good news. A new animal shelter is finally coming. That's good news. That's good news. You have asked us about that, and we're making moves to doing that. So we're moving to our service center that is near Heritage. And please know that we've been on tours around the area. We took a bus trip, matter of fact, a van trip to Midland, Odessa. Really a bus trip. I don't know if we were angry with Southwest Airlines or not, but we took a bus trip. And it was a great time for bonding, but we sure did it. It was great. But anyway, we got there and we saw state-of-the-art shelters, animal shelters, and you're gonna meet some of the, okay, oh, really? Oh, they couldn't? Okay, now they told me, I had in my notes, where you were gonna meet some of the dogs or what have you. So the dogs aren't, you made them mad. Oh, poor, oh, they've been adopted already. Well, I'll be doggone. Well, that's good. All right, so remarkable experiences. We had a whole lot of those. And I hope you've had the opportunity to visit our newly renovated library. It is outstanding. If you go in there, you'll see the entire layout. It is kid-friendly. It is just in regard to technology. You'll see the upgrades that have taken place in there. Please, ma'am, please, sir, go in there and check it out. And Yolanda Botella and her entire staff. As a matter of fact, they also are outside, and meet them. And they, you know, again, just take part in all that good stuff that's happening. And we love our special events here in Mansfield. Let me show you how much. We love having a good time in our city, and the Pickle Parade is a historic downtown Mansfield tradition. Where the pickle people at? Stand up, pickle people. You know, it's always important to highlight those who are part of the Mansfield Pickle Society. You know, there were some rumors around town that the Mansfield Pickle Parade was not going to be in Mansfield anymore. Isn't that crazy? How can you have a Mansfield Pickle Parade in some other city that doesn't have the name Mansfield, unless you're in Alabama or Louisiana? That ain't happening. So please note that in regard to the Mansfield Pickle Parade, it is home. Mansfield, Texas is its home. We're going to continue to grow the Pickle Parade. I think this year we had about, how many people out there? 50,000. That's 50,000. So the preacher number would be about 80,000. It was 80,000. 80,000 people. My God, we had a great time. But listen, you want to make sure that when March comes around that you are out there for the Pickle Parade and get good and pickled, you know, and just be ready by the time Sunday comes. You'll be better off. But go and have a great time out there at the Pickle Parade. That is important to us, so please know that. Now, we love our parks, and better is coming in regard to our park. So we have the McClendon Park West. You know that if you just drive down West Broad, you'll see that all of the great things that's happening there, expanding the parking lot, basketball court, splash pad. Hopefully we'll have that done in March. Gertie Barrett is also on track to be done by March. New playground equipment is being installed, 2 pavilions and sitting areas with the spray ground as well. Catherine Rose Memorial Park, that's going to be big. Thank you to everyone, every person in the room that was a part of that advisory committee. You're going to see that it's going to be reconfigured, and it will be an improved experience for each and every one. Skinner's Sports Complex, it's important to know that we're giving it some much needed upgrades. Some of folks from Mart over there, our tennis folks, you know, we're continuing to work and to expand all that we do here. Our city is growing, And we want to make sure that we have top-notch ball fields in the city of Mansfield because so many people depend on that. And also, I believe that it says a lot about the character of our city in regard to recreation and otherwise when we have good-looking ball fields in our town. And we're proud of them and the great work that is done by Matt Young. I believe Matt's in the yes. Matt, we appreciate you. Thank you for what you do in leading that department. And for all those who are part of his advisory board, thumbs up. Keep on doing a great work. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. All right, trail construction is on schedule for October. People, literally, they come from Fort Worth. They come from all around the Metroplex to experience our trails. And we appreciate that. And as I mentioned, you might see Officer Jones on the trail. But know this, that we're expanding it from east to west, from border to border. It's going to be an outstanding experience. If you have not, I don't know who in the room would not have gotten out on our trails yet. Is it anybody? Don't raise your hand. I just want to know. Listen, take time to get out and experience our trail system. I mean, it's a great time in regard to you have the beautiful shade tree, you got nature, it's great. You can have a good woosah moment if you just go out there. It'll help calm you down. If you have a crazy day on the job, just go out there, park, and just walk on down the trails. You can do about 40 miles, and you'll be fine when you get done, trust me. All right, do that. All right. The lot is so very important to, I believe, the city, the character that is Mansfield. The city now owns that lot, and we want to make sure that we have something happening there. We want the lot and downtown jumping every weekend, period. That just ought to happen with all different genres of music and all the great things that take place. So please, ma'am, please, sir, if you have not had the opportunity to go by the lot, please make that happen. Of course, when it gets warmer, and you're living in Texas, so that means about 3 weeks from now it'll be 80 degrees again. And you can go right back out there and have an outstanding time together as one. What can we do if we don't work together? I made a statement early on, and I said that in regard to our council, what you will see there and what you need to know is that we really do like each other. You're not going to see us throwing cups at each other and all that crazy stuff. We believe in civil discourse. No, we don't always agree. It's okay. But we recognize that we all want the best for our city. That's the bottom line. I'm originally from Houston. There are few ways that you can get to Houston, Texas. The bottom line is just get there. And that's what we figured out. Let's just get to the best Mansfield that we can have in the country. And we do that by working together. Make some people nuts, but we get there by working together. We bring our boards together. We talk. We make sure that we're on one accord, that we're going in the same direction, true north. We also partner with our school district, the MISD, and other community organizations. We actually meet together because we believe that when the boards and the commissions, when we're all together, that the benefactors are the individuals sitting out there at these tables. That's you. That's important to us. We strive to do that. And we want you to know that we strive to do that. What an awesome partnership we had this year. Hometown holidays. It was great. And we'll be back downtown next year. But I think it's important to note that when we brought all of the toys in, the community started to coming in, and we saw the expressions on people's faces. We saw fireworks, drone shows, all of that. That was outstanding. And that's what we're going to continue to deliver in Mansfield.
Yes, Mansfield, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. and you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there were no Santa Claus. He lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Mansfield, nay, 10 times 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood.
Outstanding. Outstanding. All right. Giving back together. That's what we did here in the city of Mansfield, Texas. My good friend, and I call him my brother, our representative, David Cook. He and I, we were at a breakfast, and the Arlington mayor was there. Make sure y'all get this on tape. And he's a big old guy. So we're sitting out, Representative Cook and I, we're sitting out at the table, and he gets to the mic, big Jim Ross, big old guy. He points at us and says, Mansfield is not going to win the mayoral challenge this year. David Cook and I, we looked at each other. And let me tell you something. Don't ever challenge a short person. We already have a complex. The last thing you want to do is challenge a short guy. We raised, with your help, the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts and the Girl Scouts and MISD and SWAT and others. We raised $125,230. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the most ever raised in the mayoral challenge. I'm talking about what Mansfield did. And the great city of Arlington raised $35,000. All right, so I'm just saying, just don't ever challenge short people. Okay, all right. Who are the real MVPs? Our volunteers. Our volunteers completed more than 1,000 projects this year alone. That is outstanding. And we are going to need more and more because there's more work to be done in our city. And if you would like to serve here in the city of Mansfield, just go right there, mansfieldtexas.gov, and fill out our volunteer interest form and contact Miss Julie Scheffler. And I know I saw Julie in the room. There she is, the lady in the back, y'all. Thank you, Julie. Talking about over 300 projects that were done, and we all do it together. The churches get together, folks get together, and we work to make things happen. All right, we also love working with our businesses. We hosted downtown events this year. Of course, many of you were a part of the Music Alley, as well as our Veterans Day Parade and our dash into downtown. That took place also during the Christmas season. We're doing now, our council, we get together, we're cutting ribbons now and doing all that because we want to greet all of the new businesses that's coming into our town. We believe that's important. As a matter of fact, that's why we are rated one of the most livable cities in the state of Texas, because we really do appreciate when folks come to town. And of course, we know that when new businesses come to town, people spend some good money in town, and it lowers the tax burden on us. So we are welcoming them to our city, and we're really happy about that. All right. So speaking of together as one, we have some special awards. I'm going to ask my council mates to come on up, if you would, at this time. Y'all come on up and help us out. There you go. All right, y'all give them a hand. This is my team. Come on up, Todd, Julie. Come on up, Casey. Y'all, we got you. All right, so let me say a little bit about this person. So the individual of the year. This person saw the need to really live the community theater. and to make community theater live here in our hometown. So in 2021, she created the Fleetwood Project. She's produced an exciting schedule of 10 plays and musicals to run through June 2024. These remarkable new experiences keep Mansfield fresh with something for everyone, from lighthearted comedies to Shakespeare. Live theater also contributes to a healthy economy by attracting visitors who dine in local restaurants and shop in Main Street before a Fleetwood Project show. This person is a new wave of leader that believes in Mansfield and believes that Mansfield can build a more caring and positive community through the performing arts. Those involved in the Fleetwood Project represent a diversity of age, culture, and life experience. By creating this essential cultural amenity, our Individual of the Year helps Mansfield to be the close-knit community where people want to stay for a long time. Stevie Dawn Carter, you're in the house. Come on up, Stevie. Congratulations, ma'am. All right, all right. Community Group of the Year. It is important for us to know that we cannot operate any other way but as community. This organization focuses on growth and serving the Mansfield community. This organization has expanded to provide a food pantry, financial coaching, free health care, and implanted even a GRE program. It's amazing how many different services this community group has and how many people they serve. Mansfield Mission Center, would you all come up and congratulations? You're the Community Group of the Year. Come on up, Miss Carmen. All right, Julie. All right, come on around this. All right. Yeah, don't try it. There you go. Come on. There you go. See, Carmen has short. Yeah, I mean, she has that short deal going on too. Now I'm going to have Councilman Casey Lewis to present this one because he's got a little office over there, and I visit him over in his office quite often over there. But let me. You probably know who it is already, but let me just say it. This organization is really what you want your local business to be and to look like, that hometown feel. Their location sets the tone, I believe, for the community. It is vital to creating a downtown where people spend time. They just make their customers feel special, each and every one. You're greeted with a smile there. And beyond that, the owners participate in the community, not only providing coffee, and they do, and hot chocolate at local events. They hire and they train local teenagers, and these teenagers, many of them, they remain stand-up, outstanding citizens in our city. More importantly, they build bonds in the community through their love of coffee and by participating and involving themselves with groups, other businesses, and individuals. I bet you know what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Flying Squirrel Coffee Company. We got in, there they are. If you need a good cup of coffee and you need a smile, that's where you need to go. It's true. Now it's time for a healthy economy. And we do have that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Smolinski and his crew. All right. Thank you, buddy.
As promised, the mayor gets to give out awards and talk about parks, and we're going to talk about taxes. So I've got two gentlemen with me tonight that I'll have come up here at some point or answer questions. One is Troy Listina. Troy is our deputy city manager. He is also our CFO. So Troy, and then our executive director of economic development, Jason Moore, is here as well, and you'll get to meet him in just a minute. So I do want to talk for just a second about the city's credit ratings. For those of you that don't know, when you go out and issue bonds as a municipality, your credit rating is just as important as your personal credit rating when you go to buy a house or buy a car. And we have 5 funds here in the city. The general fund is the one that you're most familiar with, and that's got a AAA bond rating. So that is the best that it can possibly be, which means We get to borrow money at the lowest interest rates possible, which allows us to do more with your tax dollars when we're repairing infrastructure, building facilities, stuff like that. We've got two enterprise funds. The water and sewer is the utility fund, and then the drainage fund. Both of those have AAA bond ratings as well, which means Jeff Price and his team. Jeff, if you already raised your hand, wave your hand real quick. That's Jeff Price. He's our Executive Director of Public Works. And one thing that I wanted to point out before I let Jeff off the hook is when the mayor said that they got that award this year, they were one of 3 water purveyors in the entire state. So 3 people were awarded that. 3 cities were awarded that out of 7,000 water companies. So that's 3 out of 7,000. Great job, Jeff. And Jeff and his team do a wonderful job managing the water rates and finances, and that's why they've received a AAA bond rating. Now, the two down at the bottom, Mansfield Economic Development and then the Mansfield Park Facilities Development Corporation, are sales tax funds, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. So where they get their money from is when somebody goes to, let's say, Academy or wherever, and they pay a penny's worth of tax out there. So 1 penny for every dollar they spend goes, and it gets split between the Parks Facilities Development Corporation and EDC. And those are the funds that we use to pay for quality of life things here in the city of Mansfield, like your park system, your trails, recreation centers, stuff like that. And it's also those are also the funds that we use to recruit new businesses to town. And Jason's going to come up in a minute and talk about those. Those have 1 notch below AAA. Those are going to be really hard to get to a AAA because it's really dependent on the economy and its fluctuations, but they've done a remarkable job. Troy, his team, Matt and Jason, you guys have done an amazing job there, and we all thank you for that. I want to talk for a second about sales tax. So you can see in 2018, we got about $11.5 million a year from sales tax here in the city. Now that's just to the general fund. Both of the other 2 sales tax funds, which are Parks Facilities and EDC, split the other penny. So each of them got about a little less than $6 million. And you can see that that number has consistently gone up. Went up about $1 million from 2018 to 2019, another $1 million going into 2020. And you can see that increasing by about $2.4 million a year now. What's really important here is that if you look at that green bubble, that's during the pandemic. A lot of cities were in a lot of trouble in 2020 and 2021. Sales tax decreased significantly. They had to lay people off. They had to reduce services. They had to do all of those things. I think what you're seeing there is a testament to how resilient our economy is here in Mansfield. It's a testament to you. It's a testament to the quality of the retailers and whatnot we brought in. What we did see is even when there was a shutdown, the majority of some of our largest tax-paying businesses are those that were deemed essential. Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, Sam's, stuff like that. So those things kept us going. So we appreciate those corporate citizens and our partners there. So that's really, really impressive. Everyone always has something to say about the tax rate, right? Everyone has something to say about the tax rate, and justifiably so. That's your money, and we realize that. The mayor went through a presentation and showed you all the remarkable things we're able to do: build new streets, build new facilities, take care of public safety, stuff like that, and so much more. In 2020, going into 2021, City Council had reduced the tax rate from 71 cents per $100 evaluation down to 69 cents, which was really important. That was the first time. Troy, was it at least 12 years, right? Something like that. It had been at 71 cents for 12 years. They reduced it by 2 pennies. At the same time, they implemented a 10% homestead exemption. That's the first time that's ever been passed in the city. And once you get it, it cannot be taken away from you. So those are 2 very important things. Last year, they reduced the tax rate another penny and added another 2% to that tax, to the homestead exemption. So I think our council deserves a round of applause for being good fiscal stewards of your money. A lot of you are waiting for this one. Talk a little bit about what affects our economy and what affects our ability to pay for services. I'm going to talk for a minute about housing in Mansfield. I want to talk about options and affordability for just a second. We've got a few slides we'll go through. We'll talk about current housing. I want to talk about what's in the pipeline right now, what's permitted and ready to be built, what's been approved. Talk about new home value in Mansfield. I think this number is going to shock a few of you. Talk about housing options and what we're doing to make sure that there are housing options for people at various stages of their life. And we'll talk about what I think the new craze is for us, and it's a far more sustainable way of building neighborhoods, and that's traditional neighborhood development. Many of you are going to be very familiar with that. There's nothing new about this type of development. In fact, it's how it was always done before World War II. So there are a couple of things that Mansfield has always done really, really well. We got a fantastic park system. Clay Chandler, when he came here in the 80s, made it a commitment. Clay Chandler was my predecessor, by the way. He was here for 36 years in this seat, and he was a remarkable man. He did a lot for this city. And one of the things, yeah, please, a round of applause for Clay. One of the things that Clay was really passionate about was our park system. We invested in that. We went to the voters, asked for that half-cent sales tax for MPFDC. He did a lot of remarkable things, and we're continuing that. You still see that today. We also do single-family neighborhoods, single-family subdivisions really, really well. We've always done that really, really well. Right now, there are about, how many, Matt? 20,000, 22, about 20,000 existing homes in Mansfield, single-family homes. We've got another 5,200, something like that, in the pipeline right now. A little over 1,000 of them are ready for construction. They've already got their permits. You got another 2,600 that have been through the preliminary plat process. You got another 1,600 or so with zoning entitlement. Those are a lot of new friends and neighbors moving to town. And we've done this pretty much the same way. These were taken off of Realtor.com as early as this morning, right, Matt? This is what the homes for sale look like in Mansfield right now. And we're going to show you in the next slide what the average new home value is here in Mansfield. But you see the square footage, 3,200 square feet, 4,700 square feet, anywhere from $800,000 to $1.1 million. And that's not abnormal. Just this last year, we issued 842 permits for brand new homes in Mansfield. The average square foot for each of those homes, right off of the permit data, is about 3,900 square feet for each one of those homes. Not every one of you need 3,900 square feet, do you? I used to, and then all three of my kids moved out, and then two of them moved back, and so I still use almost all the square footage. But last year, MLS data will show you that it was about $203 was the average square foot or price per square foot on a new home, new construction home in Mansfield, which tells you what? The average new home in Mansfield last year was $800,000. $800,000. I want to talk a little bit about something we're trying to do to address that. Because we know not everybody can afford an $800,000 home, right? Not everybody can do that. So one of the things we're trying to do is we're working on something called traditional neighborhood development. Now, the council, in what I believe is one of the best zoning cases ever to go through the city of Mansfield, approved a development called Starland Ranch that tries to address a lot of these things. It's out on the west side of town, right out near the city limit line on Broad Street. It's got 7 different lot types in this subdivision. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call it a subdivision. It's a neighborhood. There are no masonry walls around this thing. It is not gated. It is open. There are 5 amenity ponds in there, all stocked, some with boardwalks around them. Townhomes, row homes, single-family homes with rear alley access, front alley access, or front garage access. All of the above. Some very small homes in there. 1,200, 1,300 square feet is the smallest one, all the way up to 3,000. You can go above that if you want to. You can go up to 4,000. But really what it attempts to do is make sure that there's a home in that one subdivision for you, regardless of whatever phase of life you're in. Whether you're newly out of college, coming here, starting a family, whether you are me, wish they were still empty nester, or you're retired, empty nester, aging in place on a fixed income. A couple other things that this thing does. There's a commercial overlay district over the northern half of this entire development. It says if you're an entrepreneur and can't afford to open a brick and mortar store, you can open a business and run it out of your home here. Now, you can't, do adhesives and stuff like that, right? But you can run a coffee shop or barber or a lawyer's office or something like that. You can do that right out of your home, and that's allowed by right. So it's a wonderful way for you to age in place, move within the same neighborhood, grandkids, grandparents, all living in the same neighborhood. This is a trend. I think you'll see some more of this. Talk about land usage in Mansfield. Everyone looks around. I said I wasn't going to do this tonight. Everyone looks around and said there's nothing but apartments in the city. I knew some of you came for that. But I want to go through the percent of land uses here in Mansfield because some things are a little deceiving. 35% of the land in Mansfield is occupied by single-family residential structures right now. 25% of the city is yet undeveloped. 14% of this land is covered with streets. Public, semi-public facilities, 6%, think city halls, stuff like that. Commercial establishments, we think we've got a really robust commercial base. Only 6% of our land is allocated to commercial uses right now. Industrial is 6%. Parks and open space is 5%. Multifamily is about 1.5% of the land use here. Gas wells aren't far behind that at just 1%. And then 0.5% is with mobile homes. So that's what it really looks like from the sky. If you look down and you look at the land uses from above, that's what that land is used for. Talk a lot about mixed use. You guys hear all about, apartments and this and that. Well, we're not talking about apartments. We're talking about mixed use. And there's a very good reason to do this. And I'll go through some real life examples here in a minute. But if you think about mixed use, think about exactly what that sounds like. There's somewhere to live, there's somewhere to eat, there's somewhere to work, there's somewhere to play. And it's walkable. That's what we're talking about when we talk about mixed use. But most importantly, it's fiscally sustainable. Talk a little bit about mixed use developments and what they do. They promote walkability. There are several things you have to have for something to be walkable, right? We all think walkability, we think of a trail. Well, you should be thinking about your neighborhoods. You have to have a reason to walk somewhere. There's got to be somewhere you're trying to get to that's within walking distance. It has to be a safe walk. You're not going to walk down Broad Street. You're not going to walk down Debbie Lane at the height of rush hour. You're not going to do that. It doesn't feel like a safe walk. It has to be comfortable. Think pedestrian scale amenities, park benches, trees, lights, all of those kinds of things. And it has to be interesting. Mixed use developments also create employment opportunities. More often than not, it's for entrepreneurs. It's for people that, they're not going to build that big brick and mortar store, but they can rent out a place that's in the first floor of a mixed use building and they can run a business out of that. So we're helping people that live here and work here create businesses right here in Mansfield. And most importantly, they are nearby where you live if you live in a mixed use development. So you don't have to get on Broad Street at 6 o'clock in the afternoon like most of you do, and I'll show you a picture of that. They encourage unique experiences. I'll give you some examples of that, and they're often very neighborhood specific when you talk about mixed use. They should include entertainment options, and that's different for all of us. Some of us like to go indoors. Some of us like to be outdoors. Some of us are looking for something we can do with our families for free. Some of us are looking to go to a movie, all those kind of things. And then, again, what's really important to me is the fiscal sustainability and resiliency. Mixed use remains the absolute most potent land use when it comes to offsetting the tax burden on all of you that live in a single-family residence. So here, let me give you a good example. When we talk about mixed use and we talk about neighborhoods over subdivisions, on the left, you see something that we have quite a bit of. I'm going to show you a real-world example. That's 30 people in line getting coffee. On the right, that's 30 people enjoying coffee. Which of these experiences should we be looking to create when we're talking about neighborhood developments and land usage? So here's a couple real-world examples right here in Mansfield. You're looking, so this is off to the left of the screen is the intersection of Highway 360 and Broad Street. You're looking south across Broad Street. You got Chick-fil-A's up there in the corner, okay? So you got the gas station right there, Starbucks, Taco Casa, and Whataburger, okay? So, in this environment, those are all drive-throughs, they're all separated, even though they're so close to each other, you got to get in your car to go to every dadgum one of them, don't you? And then where do you go? Right out onto Broad Street when everyone else is trying to get home from work. That's an issue that we have. So if I want to get a burger, a taco, Starbucks, or a coffee, and then I said fuel, what I really meant was beer. If I wanted to get a beer, I have to go to the gas station to get it. I have to drive to 4 places there. This is downtown Mansfield. I can walk to every one of these. I got La Ventana, I can get a taco. I can go to Flying Squirrel to enjoy a coffee. I can sit there with my friends. It's not a drive-through. I'm not being circled like vultures by vehicles trying to get in and out of that parking lot. I can go get fuel in the middle one there. I can get a burger at Twisted Root. I can go to Main Street Tacos. I've got choices for tacos, all within walking distance. And I got Mary Lou's where I can go get a sandwich, sit on the porch, and have a coffee with my neighbors. These are experience-driven rather than convenience-driven developments, right? So when you hear us talk about mixed use and neighborhoods, this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about apartments. That's not what we're talking about. I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with an example of long-term sustainability. I talked about the potency of that land use when it comes to generating revenues, jobs, places to live, all the above in a mixed-use development. I'm not going to name this residential development, but what I've got highlighted up here, circled in blue, is the actual footprint of a development, a single-family residential development here in Mansfield. Green is all of the streets. I got a call last week from a gentleman that lives out in this area, and he said, hey, I'm sick of this. I want to talk to you about my streets. And the first thing I said is, I don't do that anymore. I said, Vanessa, would you stand up for just a second? I want to make sure everyone knows this. We brought Vanessa Ramirez in, okay? So, please applause. I am grateful she's here because now she provides support to all of streets and traffic and all that. So you can take my number out of your phone. I'll give you Vanessa's, and you can call her anytime you want to complain about a pothole or road or anything. So I got a call, and this guy says, hey, look, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. When are you going to fix my road? You guys are fixing roads in adjacent neighborhoods that are far less congested than mine. I said, okay, well, let me look into it. What you're looking at, the green is the streets. That's 1.7 miles of roadway. It's 2-lane roads, so we refer to that as 3.4 lane miles of road. It's important. Think of it as lane miles because a 4-lane road costs more to fix than a 2, so we look at it as lane miles. There are only 88 families that live in this subdivision. 88 homes. 3.4 lane miles of street that they need redone. Guess what? We don't ignore that. So we're doing that. It's already in our strategic plan. We're doing that next year at a cost of $1.5 million. That sounds like an enormous number. But I want you to take a trip back with me here for a second. So I also went and looked at how much these 88 properties had paid in property tax over the last 10 years. 10 years, they pay $1.2 million in property tax. So it's going to cost you, not me, it's going to cost you $1.5 million to replace their streets, which means they still, over the last 10 years, we still didn't recover the additional $300,000 it would take to fix the roads, and let alone to pay for police, fire, streets, water, sewer, all of those things. Now, I'm not saying you don't take care of these. I'm not saying this is a wonderful neighborhood. It is. I know many of the residents out in there, and they're all wonderful people. But this type of development, not the people, the type of development is not fiscally sustainable for us. We cannot do it. We have 25% of our land left yet undeveloped. We have to make very smart and very strategic decisions about how that land is used, how it produces revenue to offset the taxes that you would otherwise have to pay to cover the streets in a neighborhood that doesn't necessarily generate the revenue it takes to pay for itself, okay? So that's a difficult thing to do. It's a difficult conversation to have, but it's one that is informed. Our land use decisions, this council in particular, their land use decisions are informed by issues like that. So I'm going to bring up Jason Moore. He is our Executive Director of Economic Development. We got just a couple more slides for you, and then we want to let you go. Go out here and talk to all of the departments. If you have any questions, you have questions about development, you have questions about taxes, apartments, libraries, parks, water, sewer, we've made all of those folks available for you here. And they'll spend as much time as you want going through your questions with you. So, Jason, if I'll turn over to you for just a second.
Thank you. So I'm what's keeping you from the door. It's a lot of power, and I love it. So what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about what that healthy economy and what Mr. Smolinski and the mayor have talked about, and why economic development is looking to help that sustainable dilemma. How do we create this sustainable and resilient economy? So I'm going to start off and show you a little bit about this labor shed, and it's maybe hard to see the numbers, but we are a job exporter. How many of you work? How many of you have jobs? How many of you, keep your hands up if you leave the city of Mansfield for your job? Okay, raise your hand if you stay in Mansfield to work. Yeah, it's a pretty good mix here. Well, this map shows that 24,000 people leave the city. So these are residents that leave the city to go work outside of Mansfield. We bring in about 18,000 people into the community to work from outside cities. And then we maintain about 2,700 people that live and work here. And that's important because the types of jobs that we have available, they're not 24,000 people are having to leave because we don't have those types of jobs for them in the city. And so we use that as kind of a baseline to look at what do we do with the rest of the 25% of land that needs to be developed? How do we target those specific industries? So as we look at job creation, we really are thinking of it in terms of innovation. And if you saw the mayor's article last week in the Dallas Business Journal or Dallas Morning News, you'd see a development that's on the screen that really looks at the mixed use component and what innovation does. You know, we don't have a Class A office building today in our market. So when we look at the Mansfield market, we have a lot of medical office, but we don't have a corporate office of a Class A type. And so what that picture on your left, the top left, is a 5-story office building. And that will bring in corporate tenants in the life science, biotech, with our community education partners, the different universities in the community. And this project will aim to bring in that collaboration so that this will create those sustainable jobs, and to bring jobs back to the community so that some of you that are leaving the city can stay here. This is a Heritage Parkway, the picture on the bottom right. And this is just a quick image. We had an architect just show what does a fit analysis look like for job creation and innovation. And there's tremendous opportunities. And this is one of the significant target areas that we are looking at to bring and bridge the gap of our healthcare industries, our educational partners, and some of these advanced targeted industries that we're going to talk about. So target industries, a lot of people have told me in this role that, Jason, you're going after nothing but industrial. And I still hear it today. I hear it from the brokers. And what we are looking to do is go after the companies that will bring higher paying jobs, higher skill sets to the community. And that includes advanced manufacturing, which is robotics, nanotechnology. Right now we're working with a very large company to do that, to bring advanced manufacturing. Strawman just got their certificate of occupancy back in December right on Heritage Parkway. And they are a nano robotics company with advanced manufacturing for dental equipment. These are also target industries primarily sought after by the state of Texas. So we partner with the state and with our regional chamber partners to attract these type of companies. Biotechnology, life sciences, again, because of our strong healthcare industry, that's a big one. And some of the others are more corporate office driven. But the last one is one of the more important ones, because that's the ones I hear from a lot of you. with the restaurants and the retail and the grocers that you're wanting us to attract, and that's the next level retail. Those are ones that are that unique brand that you don't typically see when you're driving down any freeway anywhere in Texas. We're wanting to bring you a unique experience, and it's part of those mixed-use developments that are attractive to these types of tenants. Picture on the top is Whiskey Cakes. There's a few of them in the Metroplex, but it's an experience that people will spend an hour, 2 hours spending sales tax money. And that's money that then goes into the coffers, goes into the general fund, the MEDC, and the Park Facility Development Corporation. And that offers your property tax, it relieves your property tax pressures on these type of remarkable experiences and noteworthy services that the city provides. So that's what the next level retail does. We're looking at what kind of diversification in our sales tax, in our market, in our businesses that we can bring to the city that will do that. That'll lower your property tax burden. And so these are our targeted industries that we're going after today. Okay, so this next slide is talking about, and I'm not going to get into all the details, but feel free, I've got my business cards, you can ask me questions after. But we call the MEDC, Mansfield Economic Development Corporation, as a Type A sales tax, and that's really most important from a state law perspective. And in state law, it says that half a cent that's currently collected can only be used for these several things: manufacturing, industrial, R&D, warehouse, distribution, and corporate headquarters. Now, some of our competing cities throughout the Metroplex, they have a Type A, like we do, and they also have a Type B. Well, our Parks Facility Development Corporation is a Type B, but it is for parks, facilities, and not for an economic development purpose. And so that's where we differ. So what the council is contemplating at this time, and we'll be considering it on a future agenda, is whether or not to call an election to allow our Type A sales tax that we have today. It's not a new tax. This is the existing tax that when somebody goes to Academy, like Mr. Smolinski said, and buys that pair of shoes, that sales tax is going to stay just like it is today. But with giving this sales tax a different power, we're giving it flexibility with allowing additional Type B powers. The voters can authorize that through an election. And so the council recognizes the flexibility and the competition among the DFW market. And this would allow taking your existing sales tax dollars that you already get and just giving them additional uses. It expands those uses that we could have. It's not a new tax. It doesn't change anything. You can still do what we did today. You just have more ability. And so that's something that we can then go after the destination retail restaurants. When you look at Plano and Allen and McKinney and some of the entertainment options that they're seeing, obviously Frisco, they have the Type B corporation that's usually granting incentives to those types of entities. So when you see those in the paper, just remember their Type B is typically what's funding a lot of that. And so this gives us the ability, if this were to be on the ballot and the voters were to approve this, it's not anything to do with your property tax. It's the existing sales tax that's being allocated to Type A, the MEDC, and it's giving it additional flexibility. And we would be able to go after a new set of destinations and experiences for everyone in the community. All right, so one other slide. We have an exciting year. So as the mayor mentioned earlier, there is a future land use plan. Friesen Nichols is developing a comprehensive plan, and some of you will likely be reached out to try to be on a stakeholder committee. We're also finalizing cultural arts master plan. That's very exciting. When we talk to corporations and businesses that we're trying to bring to town, both of these items are critical, especially with cultural arts. So I'd like to ask the mayor if you'd like to come up and have some closing remarks for us, and I'll be out with my cards outside.
Good job, buddy. We have an exciting future that's in front of us, and you are a part of that, and we thank you so very much. Before we leave, you see the little plastic packages that you have on your table. if you have a shiny heart on your packet somewhere, then the centerpiece belongs to you. If you've got a shiny heart, and if it's just two of you at the table, it's okay. It's fine for you to just hunt around and whoever gets to it first, you got it. I mean, you know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. So hopefully you found it. You did. Okay. Good. All right. We have something special for you today. That you know we have to have some sort of entertainment. So we've got some sort of good entertainment for you today. And as they prepare to come, let me say this. Ladies and gentlemen, in regard to the state of our city, the city of Mansfield, the state of our city is strong. And we are blessed because we have awesome people like yourselves. So please know when you leave this meeting, anybody asks you about Mansfield, Texas, you tell them that we are Mansfield strong. All right? Make sure that you do that. So without further ado, we're going to ask Phap Kwong, the dance troupe, to come. And y'all, let's be entertained.